Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel for a very special video. Today I'm joined by Joe.
Hello everyone.
Joe. Joe is someone who I have known of for a little while. He's a big sort of costume person, really, aren't you? Cosplay,
yeah,
costumes.
a bit of a nerd, you know.
Bit of a nerd, yeah. I first became aware of you because of your Capaldi costumes, I think, really, that kind of stuff. And we plan to do a video on those at some point in the future, but it's going to be a big project, isn't it? But since then, you have put together... Now, this is a complete 14th Doctor costume, I'm right in saying.
Fully screen accurate.
Fully screen accurate.
Mostly. Trousers are missing and socks, but they're elsewhere, just can't get them on tailored on me.
But, I mean, what an amazing piece. So, yeah, I thought, let's do a video about it, really. And luckily, you said yes, which is great. So, yeah, we're going to, in this video, kind of talk about this costume, how it came together, our thoughts and opinions on each piece, really, and hopefully cover the Capaldi stuff later down the line, do some other bits and pieces as well, really. But yeah, this is the kind of the main event because it is just amazing. So yeah, I mean,
60th anniversary.
Yes, yeah.
David Tennant is back as the Doctor.
Yeah.
Maybe they were like, the suit's getting a bit old.
Yeah.
So we'll put away the brown suit we used for the 50th because let's be honest. It probably is washed out to oblivion at this point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because it was getting, it did look a little bit old. What do you think of the new look?
Of the new look? I think, is it recency bias? I don't know, but I do prefer, I think, to the older ones overall.
You know what I like?
Yeah.
The fact the tie's not got a pattern on, I think it just makes it more subdued.
Yeah. I mean, I think definitely like the coat, like the blue coat. I always like it when a Doctor has a bit of blue in their costume, like a blue coat or whatever. And I think that's really, really nice, the coat. And obviously we have callbacks there with like the shoes, don't we? And the general silhouette. But it's a bit smarter, isn't it? A bit less scruffy than this other one. Bit more like tailored, I suppose. And obviously kind of reflect that it's a new incarnation, but it's the same actor, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. It just, what I quite like about it is it's like someone has gone, like with the checking here instead of the pinstripe. It's like someone's gone, right, let's take what we had great about 10th Doctor, that sort of, but let's do a revamp of it and sort of harken back to classic Doctors, like obviously Trout,
it's a more kind of
even a bit of Capaldi in there, you know what I mean?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Even down to the collar on the shirt, that's very Spearpoint Capaldi-esque.
Sure. Yeah.
And its whiteness and it's just nice.
Thumbs up all around, I think, on the costume. I suppose then, because obviously, like I say, you've collected a lot of the Capaldi costume bits and pieces over the years. So how did this begin? Because we saw that photo, obviously, or the photos in filming last year from Camden. That's the first time we kind of caught a glimpse of the costume. Was it an immediate kind of thing that I've got to have that, or
there was a
slower sort of build?
A lot of umming and ahhing. When I first saw it, I think, like as Doctor Who fans, we're like, I'd argue a lot of this are like this. When a regeneration happens, we hate change. Like, you do have to admit there's a bit of adjusting if you lose someone like your favourite Doctor. And when this came about, like, this was new David Tennant, and my initial brain was like, no, I detest this. But after talking with some friends, Thomas Dunn and Tom Verdi, we sort of, like, I came to sort of have an appreciation for it, and that's where sort of work started. So with them two in particular, sort of started doing work to try and identify certain things. Lots of other people were involved, so I'm going to do a quick breakdown of who identified everything.
Yeah, sure.
So starting off with the shirt, I believe the person I know who first identified this was Tailored Responses. The shirt is from Cos. It's got like a fairly large pocket. You can't see it because obviously the waistcoat's over it. Yeah. It's got a fairly large pocket under here, and that was like the dead giveaway, and the structure and the collar's a bit pointed. That was from there.
Does he wear it like that with the top button?
Top button undone.
Yeah, top button undone.
It's never done up because it's meant to harken back to like his sort of 10th Doctor. Because he used to wear the ties a bit looser.
Yeah, loose. Yeah.
So the tie's obviously worn loose. This was initially identified by Doctor Who collector, once again as mentioned, Thomas Dunn. He identified it was a Hawes and Curtis. This was an absolute nightmare to track down. Then later on, some other people were involved. He's known as Tennantology on Instagram, and his name's James, and also another one, Scarecrow Props, James Sutton.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I believe simultaneously, I think it was announced to be a specific type of label from that company, and that's what ultimately led to this being found. And then sort of this fabric, I think, was initially identified by Rassilon/Dan, maybe. Not too sure on the names. I might have these wrong. Complete apologies. And then sort of the outer coat fabric. The first person I knew who knew about this, who is biggest person to thank for most of this, is Steve Ricks Tailoring.
Of course, yeah.
He did all the tailoring for the things like the coat here, obviously the waistcoat, and as we have here, unfortunately I can't get them on the dress form, but the trousers. But just overall, as it came together, you sort of like it certain items just like slotted together so perfectly. So for example, shirt dead easy to get, that was just a retail release. Much like what I forgot to mention,
the shoes,
the Converse, the
first
all-important
things, I think, wasn't it?
I know. This was
picked up on.
I sort of identified what like type they were, because like they have a black tag. These are the 1970s Chuck High Converse. They're a specific type.
Yes.
And there was a bit of debate on the colour, because you remember the initial photos, they were really like
I was
grainy.
going to say that, I mean, obviously like none of this has kind of been officially sort of spoken about yet or announced, has it? So all of this stuff has basically been worked out by fans, hasn't it? Like,
effectively.
And just to start with, like you say, just going off those blurry pics. Like, I remember kind of seeing it unfold from a distance, where people were kind of saying, "Oh, like is this that?" and trying to identify all the different bits and pieces. It's a really fascinating process. Yeah.
But it's like, what I know there was a bit of controversy around this, and I need to address it.
Okay.
There was a lot of controversy regarding gatekeeping information, all of this. However, what I just want to say is the community I have worked with. So, for example, when I discovered that it was this like particular type of trainer, I didn't necessarily know the colour, because initially I thought it was cream. It was actually James Sutton who later picked up on the accurate colour.
What's the accurate colour called then?
Papyrus Egret Black, I believe.
Okay.
But initially, like, if we didn't work as a team, like as a community, this wouldn't have ever been achieved. And then sort of going into the final things, obviously we mentioned the tie, the shirt, the waistcoat, all the fabrics for the coat and the waistcoat, specifically the outer ones, are from W. Bill. We've obviously got the accessories, the light turtle Wicklow glasses from Cubits. These are my personal reading ones.
Because that's the only one that we found out about after the Christmas trailer, I think.
Christmas trailer.
When we saw that shot. So, kind of bit by bit, isn't it? Yeah. We're kind of finding out more information about
Once again, Thomas Dunn identified that at the time. They were pretty easy to pick up. Unfortunately, so my costume is accurate.
Yeah.
However, I do believe, being honest, my glasses, there's a slight variant of these. So Cubits offer them in sizes now. So these are a medium, because I've got a medium-sized head. There's obviously small and large. I believe Cubits used to just do these as one set size.
Right.
And I believe the frame lines might be different. I could be completely wrong on this. But this is like getting really
niche,
really nerdy. But I have it's overall the same effect. But I think the only way to find them would be you'd have to go into the glasses store and ask nowadays, have you got an X display pair? Because obviously they wouldn't use any of their new pairs.
Of course.
And then in terms of accessories, we've got them both here. Well, both releases.
You've got one of these. So I have the limited edition one so far. I will get one of those eventually.
Standard edition. Yeah. Which do you think is nicer? Like, obviously that's got the colour changing.
Yeah, it has more features, hasn't it? It's got the chrome finish, which everybody kind of went mad over to begin with. But I think there is something to be said for the kind of the more traditional, conventional
this looks,
kind of finish.
Because we're going to shoot another video today.
Looks more like
more like aluminium. Which you'll see in a bit, obviously. Stay tuned, as Richard will have another video coming regarding a prop replica. But
doesn't the actual one look a bit more like that as well?
It looks a little bit more like this. Yeah. But just quickly, between the two of us, as we're talking about costume as well, considering this is an accessory, quick thought on this.
On the Sonic. I still think it's a bit kind of over-designed, a bit kind of squat, imbalanced. It's not one of my favourites, I've got to be honest. But as an anniversary piece, you know, I've warmed to it. I think it's nice. But just in the overall kind of pantheon of Sonics, it's not one that I would rank hit the top.
It is interesting. Like, I want to know what the thought process was, because obviously, that's to look like a Dalek gun, isn't it? I could be completely mistaken.
Yeah, I think that has been said.
They're the roundels of the new TARDIS, apparently.
Yeah, at the inside. Yeah.
Obviously, you've got these weird petals.
Prongs, yeah.
Are they petals? I don't know.
It gives it like kind of nice sort of profile from the front, doesn't it? Kind of reflecting the light and stuff. But
it's very Matt Smith. It's obviously got
the
crackle from David. You've got the leather section once again from Matt Smith. And then the bit that I find most bizarre, the laser screwdriver.
Yeah, screwdriver even. Yeah.
Like, it's clearly a fan has put this... I'm not going to lie, it is clearly a fan has put this together, but...
Yeah.
I think if you ignore this bit, this looks really nice. Like, if this was silver, like all of this...
Okay.
I just don't know about the brass.
Simpler colour scheme.
Colour scheme, yeah.
Less colours and stuff. I've seen people say that.
Do you think this is staying, though?
No, not a chance.
I think it's very much like, this is the in thing.
Yeah.
But for, like, the anniversary.
Yeah, and then by Christmas, there'll be a different one, I think.
Different? I would quite like to see Shooty Gatwa go Sonic free.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? I think we get rid of this.
Like, interesting. I don't think it's very likely, but it's an interesting... idea.
I think it would add a lot of problems. Locked door. As he runs towards it. But, you know. And anyway, back onto the costume.
Yes.
So, do you think this has any, like, plot relevance, like, to the story? Do you reckon there's a reason for this? Or do you reckon they just went, we'll stick him in this?
Pretty much, to be honest. I think so. Yeah, I think like we said, it's just kind of taking that outline and refining it a bit more, bringing it up to date, bringing it a bit more into kind of an anniversary sort of feel and classic Doctor sort of feel. I think so, really. I mean, I don't know, maybe he'll take his tie off and use it to like tie up some stuff or something, or I don't know. There'll be a reason why there's like a pocket there and why there's like a random different button on the waistcoat and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, it's like... This is so typical of me. We forgot to mention the socks.
The socks, yeah.
We were talking about this before we started shooting. We did actually forget to mention the socks.
Now, with these... So, let me try and get this right. Is there a thing where there are a couple of pairs and we don't know what
variation it is?
Yeah.
I think I know.
Now, does he wear two the same or one of each? Is that the kind of thing that I've heard? Maybe.
Trying to think. See, my brain... I am really sorry. There'll be a Doctor Who aficionado regarding this, and he's going to be like, he's got all of this. Why is he getting this wrong? But I think on the right foot, it's a dotted sock like this. And I think on the left, it's just solid black. I could be
that does ring a bell. Yeah.
So, but I don't know if it's the opposite way around. But the further confusion with these... is there's two versions of the socks. So I have worn a pair of the yellow ones. These haven't been worn.
Yeah.
But there's the yellow and there's the red heeled. You know, the heels.
So it's the same spotty pattern but with different coloured.
But obviously, because it's in the trainer, you can't tell which
is
which.
Yeah.
Now, I have it on good authority. It's the red one. And someone has told me that because it contrasts against the blue.
Okay, yeah.
But... I don't know how true that is because it's these things you don't know. But these are the Alexander Green bamboo socks. They were available on eBay. I don't know if they are now because it's been a few months. Someone might have bought them up.
Maybe.
I've seen a couple of listings.
I've seen them on there in the past, yeah.
I've seen a couple of listings from fans where... on eBay, but they're going for like £15. It's not too much, but for a pair of socks that I think was $6.99 when I bought them.
Right, yeah.
I don't know, but ultimately, there's a lot of story into how this went together. Obviously, we've gone over all the items and where they all came from. As I said, shirt dead easy, shoes dead easy. Thanks to Mr. Stephen Ricks for this, because this wouldn't have been possible. But we'll get on to the story regarding that tie.
Well, what came first for your costume? Was it the shoes or which bit did you get first?
I think it was the shoes and the shirt. So I held off on the shoes for ages. Because a friend of mine who works at a trainer store told me they were going to go on sale because they're a seasonal colour that were really unpopular. Which is funny, isn't it?
Crikey, yeah.
So I got a few pairs for quite cheap.
Yeah.
Got the shirt around the same time when they went on sale. Okay. And then I ordered...
Were all
or
these,
started to
were all
order
these
the
things
coat.
online, or was there anything that you kind of picked up in, like, people can get in shops or could get in shops? Or...
The shoes you could get in shops.
At once upon a time.
I think the shirt for a time was an online exclusive. That sounds really bizarre for a company.
Yeah.
But I did see them pop up in store later on when all of this was coming together.
Yeah.
And I just want to tell people there's a bit of misinformation out there. Cos currently have a patch pocket shirt that's very similar to this with a similar collar. However, the cuff on the inside hasn't got exactly the same stitching, so the way it's finished isn't the same, and the buttons aren't quite the same. So even though they have officially re-released the shirt, it's not
the same one.
So when buying these, if someone is selling, just ask them to fold like the inside of the cuff out, because you don't want to pay a load of money for something that's, wrong potentially. But that sort of started. Then obviously commissioned the coat. Initially, I wasn't going to complete this because the waistcoat, I'm not particularly fond. I don't know what your opinion is of it, but
I haven't really kind of seen it close. I
can just pull back the coat.
Yeah, I don't know really. I think I like the idea of it. I like the idea of that outline for him as well. Like when he's got the jacket off, having, like, compared to how the 10th Doctor was, having a bit more of a sort of smarter thing of the waistcoat and the shirt and everything. But yeah, it's interesting. It wasn't quite. I think I expected it to be a bit less kind of fabric-y than that. It's more kind of like the coat.
I think it's because it's a really premium suit fabric.
Yeah.
So I think it's wool based.
Once again, feels like that, doesn't it?
People are going to freak out because I don't know this. But once again, it's grown on me. I think I just missed the suit jacket. I do like the way you can see the flat end of the tie and the way it all splays open.
Just show that off, doesn't
it? The weirdest thing, and this is just a detail on these trousers, I was showing this to you earlier. These trousers, obviously, nice little side fasteners for tightening, because he doesn't wear a belt with these. What is with this turn up?
What's going on here?
For some reason,
so he wears these at different lengths for each leg. That's the.
I believe
the
it's
gist
on,
of it, isn't it?
I think it's on the right leg.
So one of them is turned up, one of them
isn't. And then that's just pressed in, not sewn in, that turn up. But it just confuses me. And it's like that little button. It's like they've put little details on purpose.
Yes, on the waistcoat there's a different button there, and then also he only wears it with the top button done up the whole way through. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. So
it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Because he always used to do that with the 10th Doctor outfits. He used to have different combinations, I think, didn't he, of the, whatever it was, the suit jacket kind of done up.
But do we think this plays into the grander narrative that, like, maybe this is, like, some sort of, like, not like a glitch, but it's, like, an indication that something isn't quite right.
Couldn't it? Yeah.
Like, even with the socks, if he wears one odd sock and one... I know this is really stretching.
Takes off his shoes and he's like, oh, why are these socks different?
You know something? Yeah. Like, maybe it's just like, there's something off about the costume, because it has this whole... Yes, it is very 10th Doctor revamped, but there's just certain things on it. I can
certainly see, if they wanted to go down that route, there's definitely potential to do that, I think, isn't there? Yeah. It would lend itself well. Something like that, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But we'll get on to the interesting story regarding this tie.
Yeah.
So this has been the thing that collectors have most struggled to find, I would say.
Yes.
To my knowledge...
seeing a lot of this from afar. It looks, in person, that looks quite a bit darker than...
It looks dark, doesn't it? It's just the way it picks up on camera is really bizarre. But
that caused confusion, I think, didn't it? Like with the
but it caused confusion because it's got this obviously like melange sort of effect, and it's like you can pull it out if you want. I'm not too bothered about it.
We go.
I'd say this. It's one of a kind, but it's kind of got like this silver weave through it.
Yeah.
And but I think the weave is slightly wrong. Like I think it's right, but I wonder if the base has switched. Does that make sense? Because we were all talking about it and we said it's definitely the right tie. But
so the colours are a different.
I wonder if
order
it's
or something
like so the black and the grey in it.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's more predominant than the silver while on David's.
Right.
But to be honest, the tie in Wild Blue Yonder, I don't know if you've seen like the in-shoot. It looks really dark in studio. Okay. It's only when it's outside, so maybe outside light makes it look more silver.
Oh right, I see. Yeah.
But
it's an interesting choice, isn't it? The kind of the square end, and like you say, not got a pattern on it like the previous ones, and the again the fabric. It's like it kind of reminds you of something like from the kitchen or something that you use for
woven silk.
scrub your dishes with, isn't it? It's a bit kind of peculiar. But
reminds me of,
isn't it? It's,
wire wool.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. It is kind of wire, isn't it? That's the thing. Yeah,
but it's an interesting one because this is the one that everyone has been stumped on as a result. So there was a lot of debate what this tie was, and I've got the alternative colourway of this tie just here. So it's a 1913 Hawes and Curtis knitted tie. Now, unfortunately, at the time of recording, at the time of assembling this, and at the time of actual Doctor Who filming, this was not available. Like, it was not on their website anymore. No one had any idea where this had come from. It took months. There was even talk originally that it might have been a different brand called Effendi. Okay. No idea. But we've narrowed it down now to the brand. But the thing about this tie is this was just pure accident. Initially, I emailed the company asking, can I purchase this? They said, no, but we will have a look at our factory, which I believe might be in Italy. They said, we'll contact the Italy factory. And to find that they had one lying around, basically said, you might need to pay a bit for it. And I was like, that's totally fine with me. I'll pay whatever necessary to get it over to the UK.
Sure.
Tie arrived in the UK, but unfortunately, due to having no labels, they couldn't sell it to me. So this is where the story gets even more interesting. As a result of not selling it to me, they must have just thought, for goodness sake, when it turned up. Because at the end of the day, I'm a customer who's bought one tie off them on their email list.
Yes.
To give out a freebie must be very rare.
Yeah.
They just turned around and went, look, we can't sell you this tie because it's missing the labels.
Did they know that you were looking for it because of the Doctor Who link? Or was it,
I had sent about 50 emails at this point. Because I have been trying to get this remade for all of you. And believe it or not, I can't speak for Hawes and Curtis, obviously. I don't think they want to do it. Or if they are going to do it, they probably don't want... They want to do it probably, secretly, and then if we were going to see it, I think it'd be after the 60th.
It would make sense, wouldn't it, at the time, I suppose? Because when did we? It was on wider sale before, but just not it was so recently. Was it kind of?
I believe we found a dead link from 2021.
Yeah.
So when we found the dead link for it, me and a mate called Thomas Dunn, when we found the dead link for this. Identified it was from 2021, but that was obviously... they were shooting in 2022. So unless if this costume was just...
yeah. Well, I guess they'd have been putting the costume together probably... Because Russell was back late 21, wasn't he? So I guess... I guess they were probably putting it together
this was always the vision.
Around that time. Yeah, maybe they bought them up, or I don't know. There was something...
I have heard rumours there's one tie.
Yeah.
But then I've heard other rumours that there's more
that they used.
The one that they used, but I don't necessarily believe that fully because there was a thing when there was a point, I believe it was at one convention simultaneously. Do you remember when it was on display at that Edinburgh convention? No, Edinburgh.
In London was at the museum. Yeah, I do know what you mean.
It was on display in Edinburgh, but I think there might have been a convention in London simultaneously where this was on display as well. So that leads me to believe there's two.
Yes. Okay.
Because how could it be on display twice at a similar time? Unless if they'd taken it off display at the Edinburgh museum thing and then... Sure. But I tell you, it's been interesting, and unfortunately, because it doesn't have the labels, I still question the integrity of this, and obviously people will naturally, but
wasn't there a thing recently in that when Doctor Unleashed was announced, there was a photo that I remember seeing people going mad over this because it was like, if we'd had this photo a year earlier, it would have made it so much easier to identify. And the reason was because it was a photo of David, like from the side with the tie, and you could see that label, the company label.
So you could see, I think, the 3 from the 1913. So it was clear as day.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks a little bit more like David wears it now, all scruffy.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that was really funny to see.
But it's an absolute, I tell you, it's a mess getting that through. But, But I don't mind it. It's just, I feel like if I didn't get this, I ultimately would have never done it. And I think I'm glad to have it, I don't know. It's definitely different. I'm incredibly grateful to the community because you can say what you like. Especially I must foremost thank Steve for all of this because without Mr. Rix's tailoring, I probably would have never bothered putting this together because it's just a lot of people getting to the point where there's another company called Magnolia Clothers and they're great. They're great as well. But Magnolia do the W bill fabric, but for things like I think there's some linen on the back of the waistcoat. You'd have to get that fabric yourself, and that's all accurate. Okay, but I don't think Magnolia serves that. I could be completely wrong. I think they just do the W bill, and I don't think they do the accurate coat fabric. So you'd have to get the fabrics and send them across. By having Steve in the UK, it just makes all of this dead easy.
I mean, this is screen accurate, right? Isn't it? The whole thing, as far as it can be, which is amazing. Like, before we started recording, I kind of walked in here and just saw it there. Obviously, I'd seen it on Instagram and stuff before, but I saw it on the mannequin or whatever it is, and I was like, "Oh my god, yeah!" It's like stepping into a actual exhibition or something. Like the Doctor experience. It's a really, really cool piece. Yeah, fantastic to have it all. It's definitely all in one place, all there on display, and it's great. Yeah.
Yeah. And now I'm going to list it on eBay for the price of £5,000. Does anyone want to buy it? Actually, one thing I will mention, because I keep getting questions about this tie, and I need to address it.
Okay.
Due to the circumstances under what's happened regarding the tie, this won't ever be for sale. So I'm going to say to people, don't nag me about it. But if I do get out Doctor Who, it's only right as this was gifted to me to gift it to someone else. You know what I mean?
Sure, yes.
So currently, the person I have in mind, it's spoken for, but we'll see in future. Because circumstances change. Like you put a costume together like this, and it's like I've worn it once, being honest, and it's like it's a great thing to have for display, but it just takes up a lot of space, you know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Do you think you will? I don't know, shift it one day? Or...
It's a very good question.
Depends, yeah.
I feel if it goes, I think it'd have to go as a set. Because I feel like if I was just to get rid of the tie, I'm then stuck with the rest of it, and I'd be like, I need to get that back.
Yeah.
But it's one of these things where this means so much to me because just personally, this year, like, just finished university, this was like a bit like that thing that, got you through the year. It was a bit like, I get a new piece every month to put together on this. And it's kind of refreshing. It'll be a bit like you with your figure collection, like adding absolute diamonds to the shelf.
Yes,
I'm sure you've got those ones. A bit like that Amelia Pond, I think you have now.
Yeah, finding the rarer ones and finally having them after so many years. Absolutely. It really kind of is that feeling, isn't it? It's
just just nice and like...
mean so much, these things, don't they? Yeah, they do.
But... I don't know. I'm interested to see what this is going to play in the 60th because obviously all the odd details, like the odd socks, as we mentioned, the odd button, and the turn up on the trouser. I just wonder if this is like some sort of toy maker amalgamation, or it's like there's a reason this is gone. I'm going to make my version of the Doctor, right? David Tennant, but I'm going to have.
It would make sense, wouldn't it? And of course, obviously the costume. The thing about the generation as well, with the costume changing and the whole lot, it would kind of all play in.
And I understand what Russell said regarding the costume because there was an odd bit of controversy.
Yeah.
You need to understand what Russell was trying to do. It was being respectful to a community, and I think that's what people need to understand. So, if Russell has made that choice, then he is fully entitled to make that choice, I think.
And I suppose as well, because we've only got the 14th Doctor for a year, you want to get that look out into the open
and embedded into people's heads.
Yeah, exactly, as soon as possible.
Because that's the most controversial thing I've seen around this is obviously that regeneration, that changeover.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think it doesn't necessarily matter all the controversy. It's been done for a reason, a pretty valid reason in my opinion.
And it could be a story reason too, we never know.
Yeah.
It could
also have something to play in. And people really shouldn't worry about that kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Sure.
But it's nice to have, and obviously Ncuti Gatwa will rock this in a different capacity where the waistcoat I think's gone.
Yes. We've seen him in the shirt, haven't we? And the tie kind of loose around his neck.
Yeah. Well, I think we talked about everything regarding this, haven't we?
Yeah. I mean, just to reiterate, it's an amazing piece. Really great. And really nice to see it in person as well.
It's been an honour to share it with you.
Well, it's very grateful and to do a video about it and to see it. And like I say, because it's still not actually been seen on screen yet, aside from the regeneration scene last year, it does feel kind of nice and exclusive and unique. And just the whole story behind it as well, with you and with the collectors and everyone who's kind of come together to identify all these things before they've even been, actually released out into the wild, and people have said, it's this one, it's the costume designer and stuff. That's all still to come, like the interviews and the details. So the fact that it's come together without any of that is amazing.
Is it Pam Down that's designed it? I'm not too sure. There was something about
that rings a bell. I couldn't
Did
say
that
for
pop
sure.
up on a CV? I don't know.
I think there was something like that, yeah.
But
whoever
designed this, absolutely incredible job. I probably should have done more research, but I think that's right.
Yeah,
but
it does ring a bell.
It just looks phenomenal.
Yeah, really
I think we're really in a new era now. I think this is Doctor Who. It's the last few years have obviously been interesting, not because the community's been absolutely divided for ridiculous reasons, to be honest. And it's just, it's quite sad that happened, but I feel like it's a nice reform. I feel like there's been not much disagreement regarding this, this sort of new era as we're approaching it forward.
True, isn't it? Yeah.
But it's just, what I kind of like most about this, costume in particular, is I know some people got a bit uptight about the whole gatekeeping of information, where items were from. And I'm not going to lie, I was sort of a part of that, but that's just because when people told me the identification for an item, they told me to keep it quiet. And the point is, it's not really my point to share then. That's all I'm going to say. So if I do know something about it, if someone's found something out and told me not to share, it's not really my point to say that's what they've told me.
Yeah.
And I do understand that. However, personally, my outlook on this is I'm quite grateful to everyone who was involved with this once again, because I think as a community we forget that sometimes if we just have that transparency more in future, maybe more people could have had this, complete and 100% accurate. You know what I mean? But as I'll say, before we sign off, I am going to still actively try to get this tie remade. But there must be. It's not like I'm asking them to reweave the check or anything.
It would be a no-brainer for them, surely, wouldn't it?
But it'd be like their bestseller
batch, exactly. Yeah, to tie in with the episodes and stuff. That'd be nice.
That is what I'm going to try for you all, and stay tuned as me and Richard have some more content to come.
Got some more stuff.
Interesting.
A very nice piece to look at, so stay tuned for that. And then just some general chit chat as well, really. Yeah.
Chit chat regarding the 60th.
Yeah. It's been really great to kick these little videos off and to see this in the flesh and to do a video about it. I mean, you guys let us know all your thoughts about the costume, in the comments below. Do you own any of these items yourself? Maybe the shoes or the socks and stuff, I don't know, or just anything, opinions, thoughts, whatever, on this magnificent piece. And thank you, Joe, and we will see you soon for some more stuff. But until then, goodbye.
Bye for now. Is it even on?